Hello, everyone. This is Tom, your host for the Hidden Truths channel. How's everybody doing this evening? Tonight's live stream is going to be about all the sacrifices that the taxpayers makes, not just in giving the government entitlement programs money, but other stuff we sacrifice. Okay, they get a lot more than just their. We sacrifice a lot. The taxpayer does, and we're going to discuss that tonight. But anyway, with everything that's going on, I want to do a quick discussion while I'm waiting for some people to show up. For them to send notifications out, which YouTube never does. I got my subscribers saying, man, I never get notified and stuff, but whatever. But we got a world of hurt coming down. I mean, in 4 days is November 1st. Hey, DC, how you doing? Appreciate you being here. But we got a world of hurt coming down when this government entitlement, the WIC and the Section 8 and the EBT and all that is suspended, you might say, on the 1st of November because of the government shutdown. I mean, we're entering into crazy time. When people get hungry, 9 meals away from anarchy, everybody. 9 meals away. And, we may be headed to that time. I always say that the politicians really, they fear the people that are really upset with the government that have jobs and stuff, but they know they're still living their lives. But the people that the government fills their hand every month, and when they don't do that, those are the ones that become dangerous. Those are the ones that will be holding the pitchforks and the torches. But it just seems like they are hell-bent on going after the taxpayer and these companies that help provide the assistance that they do. Anyway, we're going to get into that. Sacrifices through all the levels of EBT and government entitlements, okay? Okay, so we got some people showing up. Let's discuss this, start discussing this. Okay, now us taxpayers, us working people, okay, we go out and we have jobs. And most of our jobs, well, everybody's job is based on helping society out in some shape, way, or form. I am watching from up north. The government is conspiring against the people. Oh, you're up in Canada? Oh, I tell you what, you guys got problems up there. You guys got big problems up there. And see, this is the thing. The elites are taking over the whole world, okay? And the United States is the last ripest fruit on the limb. And everything's falling around us. Anyway. And government entitlements is just another way of destroying a country from within. Okay? Government entitlements takes away the ambition of the people that are on it. But let's get into all the sacrifices the average person makes. The taxpayer, the worker that gets up every morning or at night, whenever your shift is, and you go do your thing. Okay? Now, let's just go with the food. Okay? EBT, right? Well, where does that all start? Where does the food stuff all start? Is it made in the back of the grocery store like some of these people think? No. There's months of work that go into their hamburger, or I'm sorry, their steak and lobster, okay? Or their, other high quality food. That takes months and months and many man hours to sit there and produce. I mean, let's just start with the ranchers and the farmers, the people that produce the meat and the grains that we need, okay, and the tomatoes and the oranges and the lemons and the grapefruit and all that stuff. All that time and effort it takes into producing that. Oh, I see YouTube slam me down. See, this is what I'm saying, DC. They don't like what I have to say. Entitlements destroy a country. Our founding fathers knew that. But all the sacrificing that you do, I do. And the thing is with our country, right? It's not just our citizens sacrificing to feed these lazy goddamn screwballs. And I'm not talking the people that, let's make it clear, there's some people that really need it. What I don't understand is how we have homeless vets who don't rate SNAP, but you got these lazy deadbeats that never did nothing for the country and they get it. How do they determine what Americans have a sad enough story or are victims enough to be able to get these government entitlements? How is that all figured out? I'm just curious. Anyway, crazy times, right? By the way, let's start, like I say, all the sacrifices the taxpayer makes just with the food. Okay, you got the farmer and the rancher. Takes months and years, a cow is usually almost 2 years old before they go to market or, go to the packing plant to get butchered. All that time. Or the fields where you're dealing with a season and all the work in the field, planting the field, taking care of the crop so you have a crop, worrying about Mother Nature so she don't take you out. Tell you what, farmers and ranchers they're the biggest gamblers. Vegas ain't got nothing on those guys, man. But all that time and effort they do just to get there and be able to get food that can go the elevator or go the packing plants and then get shipped to these food processing plants where all this stuff can be made. All those people in that chain, from the farmer and rancher, the elevator, the packing plant, the guys in the railroads, in the trucking industry. My brother, for instance, and by the way, he listens to my stuff. Hey, Jim, hope you're having a good morning. By the way, late at night, I can't remember what time he starts, something like at 11:30 at night he takes off and he drives a semi milk truck and he picks up milk from a big dairy and stuff. Same route every day. Okay, those guys out there busting his ass. Okay, all these people that are sacrificing that just to make their food, that all the processes we go through and the time it takes to make the food. It's not like Chaz and Chap where, do you remember that? Oh, we're going to throw a seed in the ground. Well, we ain't got a tomato to pick tomorrow. These people they just think they get our money, right? Well, I'll tell you one thing. Between my time and the green piece of fucking worthless paper, my time's worth more. All these hours we work every damn year to make sure that these ungrateful pieces of shit can sit there and say they're going to sit there and hit a old lady over the head as she walks out of the store with her groceries because they're not going to starve. Okay? And these people they don't think, oh, we're getting food stamps. They don't even realize all the steps where it started, the food that's on their table, where it all started. All right? And then you're dealing with transporting it from where the food's processed to the stores where they go to. Right? And now these stores are having to put up with, oh my God, these grocery stores and these grocery store employees. I mean, they're going to be in danger on the first. And they're going to be the front lines. The grocery stores are going to be the front lines. Walmart, Target, and the grocery stores. You know, that grocery store that was started in the small neighborhood by this guy or this woman or this family that wanted to take a chance and become business owners, start up a grocery store and was successful to serve his community? And his community is going to come in there and destroy his business? Everything he worked for or they worked for? This is the mentality of these people. Then but to add the government workers that are sitting there doing all the paperwork and getting everything done so they can have their money on their EBT card. The lifeblood of the economy is a blessing. It takes hard work. Yeah, we all knew that. See, we grew up that way. You know, they don't understand a dollar is not worth anything unless it's earned by you sweating some type of the business transaction, or your money in an account, drawing interest, whatever, your money, working for money. It's got to be produced from something, not out of thin air. I'm so glad I grew up when I did. I was born in 1967. Still, when our parents were hard on us, where the government was out of your life, where being on entitlements was a shaming thing, not something that you look forward to. And we got blisters as kids. I grew up on a farm. I grew up first grade, 4:30 in the morning, doing chores in the morning before school. First grade, when it was cold out, in the winter, dead of winter in Minnesota. 6 years old, having to go out and do chores. Yeah. Boy, you'd get thrown in jail if you made your kid do that these days. But I'm glad I grew up tough like that. I'm glad I grew up when poor was actually poor. When you were poor, you didn't have what the rich kids had. Nowadays, even if you're dirt poor and you're on government assistance, hell, you still got the newest PlayStation console with games and stuff and a cell phone. And when I was growing up, you didn't have the stuff the rich kids did. We knew what a poor was like. And if you wanted something, like our parents said, you want to go out and make the money and buy it. And then if we wanted something, we'd work all summer and save up our money and buy it at the end of the summer. Instead of all this, oh, you want that? I'll borrow you some money at 50% interest if you want it today. Anyway, and that's just one industry. All the people that are involved just in producing food in this country. And like I say, other countries too. Ember, hi, how you doing? All over the world, these lazy ass Americans expect everybody in the world to serve them because they're just not eating American food. That's just the food. Now what should we talk about? Oh, I don't know, the medical industry? Where should we even go there? Free medical. Free medical. These people are, I worked for a guy once whose daughter was a doctor. And she didn't have nice things to say about people that had free medical. Because she said they clogged up the system by coming in for every little sniffle because they knew they didn't have to pay for it. For the people that really needed help. This is one thing in today's world with the medical too. They tell you in commercials to sit there and go to the doctor to see if you're sick. That's the craziest thing I ever heard of. Going to the doctor to see if you're sick, so they can run a test. I'll have to be on my deathbed before I go to the doctor, and I just may go lay up against a tree. It's a lot easier because at my age, you start going to the hospital or you got to go to the hospital, the chances of you not coming back out of there is a lot higher. That's just the way I feel about it. I don't have time for these quacks no more. What all they do is push vaccines and drugs and these pills. It's beyond belief. Like you say, I'm old school. Old school. Hey, I grew up with the old school doctors. Which, their philosophy was medicine was to get you better, not something you got to take once daily for the rest of your life. like I need someone to tell me I am sick. Yeah, I know it's stupid, but that's what you see. Oh, your big toe hurts. You better go to the doctor because you may have this life-threatening illness or whatever. Jeepers cripes, if I went to the doctor every time I ding myself up or hurt myself a little bit, I'm rather rough on my body, you might say. Okay, I do hard labor. I like it. It's sitting around that hurts me. Well, thank you, Seisha. Jesus loves me. He loves you too. But a lot of people don't want his love. A lot of people want to ignore his teachings because then they can have pleasures of the flesh, be lazy as hell, and think they're living a life. Like I say, all of this government entitlements does is it clips your wings. So you can't sit there and soar to your maximum potential. It takes away people's ambition. And now we got an entitlement class that they're off the rails, people. I mean, you live in an area where a lot of people use EBT, you could be in danger. The food wars. We got ice riots going on. We're going to have food wars going on, plus all these people that are going to become homeless. I mean, I don't feel happy that children are going to go hungry, and children can't pick who their parents are. Okay? They're stuck with what they get. And our government has made these parents not productive. I mean, he's watched videos of these. Well, my debt to society I'm paying is by raising my 7 kids because she didn't want to go out and do 15 hours of community service a month to get $2,700 in food stamps. That's almost $300 an hour. Are you kidding me? Who would work $1,500 for $2,700 in food credits? Anybody with half a brain would. I just, these people got to get into the mindset that they got to become part of the productivity of this country. You don't get to live life for free no more. I know, it's like crazy time. 15 hours for $2,700 in food. 15 hours. Boy, I tell you what, what's it going to be like to barter with these people when stuff SHTF hits and you're going to have to try to barter with these people? It's pointless. They won't be alive anyway. But this is how... And then she goes, well, I'm on strike, so I'm not going to do it. I'm on strike from that. Oh, my God. Lazy. Because somebody has to tell her when she has to be there, when she can leave, and that she can't be on her phone, when she can be on her phone. And that's just some things she can't handle. Well, I tell you what, I learned at a young age, do it. When I was... first grade, and I complained. You got your ass whooped and you just went out and you had to do it anyway. So it's better just to go out and frickin' do it. And now these people are getting spanked a little bit. It's a waste of life. Pissing your life away. I mean, these people, they don't have a jail cell. No jail cell. But they don't ever have to leave their apartments or their houses. I mean, EBT, you can sit there and get it delivered to your home. These women that are 500 pounds, these guys that are 500 pounds, never have to leave their homes now. I tell you what, disability, because you didn't take care of your body, by what I mean is, if you get you shouldn't get disability because you chose to become extremely overweight and now you can't function. If you destroy your body by choice, it's your choice. Live with it. Sleep in the bed you made. You're disabled due to a work accident. I know, $2,700. What these people, and then they get cash, their rent paid for. You're talking the average person with these 6 to 8 kids or whatever is getting, $6,000 to $8,000 a month in help. That's insanity. But anyway, it'd be nice if all this money that doesn't go out on the 1st of November, you know what they can do? Since it's $8 billion that don't go to the people that sit on their ass, he can sit there and give the taxpayer, they got all our Social Security numbers, and they can send us a check, make an account for us so we can get our taxes back. Never happened. Never happened. So, but, or maybe they can use it to apply it towards the debt. They're just going to use this money to go somewhere else. See, this is another thing, people that are on government assistance. We are broke. As a country, we are broke. We can't afford social services no more. Especially when we're about to go to World War III and we need all the funding we can get for that war. Okay? And don't worry, everybody's going to be put to work in some shape, way, or form. And if you're not put to work, well, you're going to get to put on a military green uniform. We'll send all the money to other countries. Yeah, we do. This foreign aid shit's got to stop. Like you say, when did the American worker ever agree to give him money away? They're giving our money away. Our money that we earn. The time it takes, like I say, I'm so sick of the money. It's the time that I get taken out of my life that goes to them. And they just go spend it on shit we don't want. And people bitch about the Democrats or Republicans. They both do it. They both do it. Trump not spending billions of dollars over in Ukraine? Oh, I'm sorry. He's selling giving weapons to Europe, who's giving them to Ukraine. So I guess, is that laundering weapons? Who's the biggest arms dealer in the world? That would be the United States president, okay? Been that way for a long time, people. By the way, they're just giving this money away is bullshit. No foreign entanglements. Can we save our prosperity for us? We live in a country that produces way more food than it could eat in 3 years, in 1 year, and we have people that can't get food in this country. Now, I do believe there should be one publicly funded food program, and that's in the public schools. And they go back to actually having food again. Because you know why? Because the government requires our kids to be in school. And that would be one program, a social program that, the government should just fund school lunches. The breakfast and stuff, I don't believe in that. That just takes away responsibility from the parents to cook their kids breakfast. And a lot of these You know, you hear these people say that. Oh, these kids are so poor that the only meal they get is when they go to school. Yeah, that's because their parents spent all their food stamp money on drugs the way they do it. Right? Anyway, crazy times, people. These people, like I say, the sacrifice that the average worker makes all over the world now to take care of our so-called privileged. It's not just the American taxpayer. It's farmers and agriculture people all over the world. I mean, we definitely got a class, you might call it, in this country, the lower educated, poor class that expects to be served like they're a freaking king. And treat all of us as peasants. It's our responsibility. And now they're about to get violent. You know, this is the thing, people. And this is to the people that think you're going to get violent because you're not going to get your government entitlements. You get stupid enough over the first week in November, you'll never get them again. You start beating up old ladies or tearing stores apart, mom and pop stores, or assaulting people or killing people. Your government entitlements for life are over. You're going to sit there and slap the hand that feeds you? See, dum-dums, it comes from us, the money. You want to start assaulting us in the parking lot because we're smart enough and figured out growing up that, hey, you got to take care of yourself. Nobody puts food on your table. Nobody pays your bills. If you're still you're an adult and you haven't figured that out yet, well, guess what? You relied on the government. How'd that work out for you? What about all those people that had natural disasters in Lahaina, Hawaii? What did they get? $750 loan? A loan? $750 loan from the government in Hawaii. Yeah. And then the hurricane people there that hit the Western Carolinas and, you know, one that went inland, did all that flooding, they got $750 loan too. Lost everything. Here's $750. Hey, get everything for it. And you got people that are getting thousands and thousands of dollars for EBT every month. I don't even know how that's possible. There's got to be a limit. Okay, me personally, okay, I can't go by what food prices were when I had my kids at home because I know they're a lot different now. But me personally, I go through probably about $300 a month in food. Okay. Now I know that it doesn't take $2,700 to feed a family, or 42. I heard once too. 4,200. That's insanity. I mean, that's just flat out. If you're living, why would these people want to get jobs? They make more money not doing anything. But like you say, that's about to change. Trump's, has a war on government entitlements. A lot of people are happy. Now, I don't want to say happy with it, but we want to say finally the situation's being addressed. Okay, we all want it addressed. It's got to change. This welfare system we got can't stay the way it is. Something's got to give. You can't take the incentive away from people to succeed. I mean, it's a normal thing for a human being to want to strive to be better than they were the day before. That used to be. That's what got the caveman out of the cave. That's what made him invent the wheel. Okay, to become better and more efficient as a person and as civilization. You're taking that away from people when you don't make them push themselves. Life wasn't meant to be easy. Nobody who has an easy life all the time succeeds. They just don't because they've never been pushed. I guarantee you a lot of these, well, maybe the older CEOs of this country, of these big companies, I guarantee you their fathers were hard on them. You know, just because you got a billionaire father doesn't mean that they're, oh, you can have whatever you want, kids. You know, they got more of a strict code than we do as us poor folk. So anyway, deport the illegals and crime goes down, plus more jobs for generational welfare folks. Yeah, and then get rid of the H-1B visa workers. Over 50 million of them in this country. We just need to bring America back. We need to sit there and be like, okay, America, you know, Trump says America first, then keep all our food in America. Food prices would drop well in half if we never exported anything. Never imported anything either. We just grew our food to take care of our country. Food prices would probably drop by 2/3. I mean, they'd have to, because there would be such a supply of it. Like I said, we produce a lot of food in this country. I've been in agriculture for, you know, observing agriculture for over 50 years. And I can see the difference in production from 50 years ago to now in a corn plant, everything else. The yields are way higher. Food is an industry, yeah. And it also seems like it's being used as a weapon. I just don't understand, with this abundance we have of food in this country, how we can have a problem people not being able to afford it. We definitely have enough jobs in this country if we let Americans fill them instead of foreigners, and they'd have more than enough money to buy food. We'd still live in excess. Anyway, what do you say? Now, I'm not saying when you import food, you can't import exotic foods and stuff, but the bulk of it, you know, we need to stop. Yeah, farmers may take a hit. But what's more important, selling your country out to get a profit, or taking a hit and suffering just like everybody else? You know, that's one reason why we'll never solve the problems in this country, because we can never come together. There's always going to be one group involved in the solution, or two groups involved that are going to be looking at the bottom line or how they can benefit from it, that will never come to a hey, what's up? We can come together over pickleball. You know, I'll tell you what. When I was in Minnesota there, and I was belonged to the gym, I was in my 50s still, right? And I would be playing basketball, lifting weights, and you know, all the hand self-defense stuff. And I'd be watching these people my age playing pickleball and stuff. Like, that was like the hardest thing they're doing and stuff. And I had one guy at work that played it. He was a couple years younger than me. How in shape he was getting from pickleball and stuff. And I just had to laugh. Whatever. I think it's gay as fuck. That's what you're saying is Trump fuck us. That's not cool. He's a politician now, people. Tell me which if you expect to be voted out of this, or we're going to have some wonderful candidate come that's going to save everybody and be for everybody, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But and this entitlement thing, is Trump doing this so he can throw the cities into chaos, and then he can call out the military, use Directive 5240.01 DoD directive, and call out the active duty service military to the streets and use any force which is necessary. Which, to me, the way the order is written, they could bring in the damn jets with the laser guided bombs. Anyway, we'll see. I don't think there's gonna be. I always thought there was gonna be, I should say, a rescue at the end of this. At the last hour, they were going to come together and, somehow solve this problem. But it doesn't look like it. They don't want to do it. And now the troops ain't going to get paid either. How can our politicians get paid? How can the IRS still collect taxes? How can all that shit still operate, but our troops can't get paid? Hey, Pentagon, you got over $1 trillion this year. Pete Hegseth, pay the troops. I don't know what I would have done when I was in the Marine Corps if we wouldn't have got paid. Because we were taught you get thanked twice a month, meaning payday. I don't know what our military would have done if they would have decided to do such crazy shit. Anyway, but that's what we deal with. We see who really matters in today's world, right? And they want to, this is one thing too, all you people that are mad about losing your EBT and Section 8 money and all that stuff. You know why it's all gone? You know why that money is all gone now? Where did it all go? To $300 a night hotel rooms, to EBT cards with 5 figures on them. Anybody know who got all these? So you're complaining about the money that's not there no more because you were for the illegals that were coming into this country. So they got all your money. They took the rest of the cookies out of the cookie jar, and there isn't none left. And the government ain't going to put no cookies back in the cookie jar because all the cookies they're taking from us, they need for World War III. We're broke, people. We're broke. This is just another sign. I've said this too before. When we become a third world country, they don't have social services programs. And what's the sense of getting $2,700 a month in food stamps when a loaf of bread is $125? Oh, that could never happen here. That'll never happen here. Yeah, I mean, we can't even us working people can't even make enough cookies to even start putting cookies back in the jar because they're eaten as soon as they come out of the oven. Is that a good analogy for DC? I sure appreciate my moderators, man. There's professional pickleball. The top women play is 18 years old. Yeah, I'm glad you like Lucky Bounce pickleball, but I just look at it and to me it's a gay sport. You'll never see me playing pickleball. Okay, it was bad enough when we were in school in elementary. We had to play badminton. That was bad enough, but I'm a football, basketball, baseball type of guy. So, I like hitting a heavy bag and stuff like that. So no pickleball for me, sir. Crazy. But anyway, yeah, I tell you what, DC, I've been watching my shorts lately. I think I've been hitting a nerve with YouTube. I tell you what, I had some good growth last week, but they're clamping down on my channel now. It doesn't matter. Eventually, Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg are going to have to deal with the hell they're helping create. They're going to have to deal with it. Just like our politicians creating it. They're going to have to deal with it. Eventually, it's going to bleed off the American citizen, and it's going to come after them when they find out who the real enemy is. When they find out who really screwed them over. It wasn't the person making the money. It was the person that promised to fill their hands. But like I say, they want to assault people that sit there and sacrifice, like I've said, sacrifice for them so they all this way through so they can have food on their plate, medical. I didn't get into all of it, the sacrifice, like with Section 8 housing. I mean, it takes a long time to build a building. Anyway, they just see the money because it never worked. They don't know what real sacrifice is. Anyway, but they're about to find out. And what we're going to see what happens when adult children who are very spoiled have to grow up real quick. A lot of law-abiding citizens are going to have to deal with them. And now the grocery stores are going to be the front line. The front line. Not because of a pandemic and everybody wants to steal the toilet paper because the supplies are running out. No. Because they're not going to get their government entitlements no more. Like I say, if you need to go shopping, get her done before, well, you got 3 days left. Especially if you live in a high government entitlement area. Okay. Yep. I can't wait to see the videos on that day. But then maybe again they'll back down. But, nine meals away from anarchy. And then they get their medical cut. So then they're not going to have their antidepressants and antipsychotics. This could get bad, people. I forgot about that part. Not being able to get their medical and their prescriptions. Anyway, like I say, you live in a big city, be careful. It could be starting already. You never know when a flash mob is going to enter that store and you're going to be part of it, okay? You never know today when you'll be in the middle of a riot, basically, and you got to sit there and hide out. Anyway, don't try to take these people on. They're rabid animals. Rabbit. And they're going to be hungry rabid animals here real soon. Anyway, I like to say, can everybody see why our founding fathers didn't like government entitlements? Can everybody understand that? Why they didn't like political parties? Political parties divide people, and government entitlements make people lazy and take away their incentive to succeed. So this is where we sit in today's world. And who's always got to suffer for it? All of us that are paying for everything. Doesn't it make you feel great? Anyway, appreciate everybody being here. I tell you what, YouTube, they just, like I say, when this all blows up, I can't wait till these billionaires are going to be like, holy shit, how are we going to control these rabid people? Times are going to get crazy. Like that short I made yesterday, stormy skies, stormy weather. That's all that's on the horizon. Maybe we get winter, it'll cool things down until, I don't know. Does it feel like the holidays are coming up to you? Sure don't feel like the holidays are coming up to me. Now we got more to argue about on Thanksgiving dinner, don't we? Anyway, the shorts are great, and I saw old pictures of you playing with the bear. Too cool. I want to hear stories about her. Okay, DC, let me tell you about Annie. She was a she. Yes, Annie was my bear. I got her when she was 8 weeks old, and I tell you what, she was something else. I never had to have her tied or caged up or nothing. She behaved. I remember my first daughter was like, well, she was walking around in a walker about the same time Annie, she could fit in a walker. Annie would sit in her walker. I tell you, get in her walker, put her feet down, and play with the toys on. I swear to God, just like a baby. Anyway, one time I didn't get her bottles right, right? I got them too hot. And she to get pissed, right? And she took her paw with her claw, and she didn't scratch me somehow, but she from the top of my pant leg in the front all the way down, ripped it in half, totally split it in half with her claw. I was like, okay. But she was cool. She was tame. She wasn't dangerous and stuff. She behaved better than the dogs. Like those pictures I got, she had her tree she always stayed in by the house. And when people would come up, of course, she'd get out of the tree. Do you think I ever had a problem with anybody getting out of their car when they came up to my place? Never, right? And she was cool though. And like I say, she never had to tie her up. One time, one of her things with me, right, was she was quiet. She was fast, right? Well, she'd sneak up behind me when I was walking, and she'd grab me around the waist from behind and try to pull me down to the ground and then run away, right? One time, she was leaning up and standing up against a tree, and she had her back to me, right? And I go up behind her and I jabbed her in the ribs with my fingers. That bear turned around and her stomach went to her shoulders like this. I thought it was history, and then she saw it was me, and she dropped down right away. But I never did that again. So anyway, but what happened is we went for a walk once in the woods. I lived up there in northern Minnesota, and she was starting to get to where it was just her time. And we went for a walk in the woods one day, and she looked at me. She looked at we were walking down this path. She looked at this bushy area, and then she looked at me again, and then she just walked into the woods. I never saw her again. But yeah, she was pretty cool. She was pretty cool. That's one thing. The thing is, a bear can be domesticated, okay? And I believe a lion probably could, but a tiger, there's some animals that can't be domesticated. But I'm telling you, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, and it just, a lot of time and effort to do it right, to where they're not dangerous to you or anybody else. I mean, but it's an adventure I did in my life, something I always want to do. So yeah, I'm pretty good with animals. I like animals. So that was back, God, 20, 28 years ago, 27, between 26, 27 years ago. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was my Annie. Anyway, but I tell you what, you know why bears are so dangerous? Because they're scared of everything. And they want to attack anything they're scared of. They're just scared of everything. And with Annie, she's standing there, right? Her back end could stay still and her front end could twist all the way around with her paws and be looking at me. It's crazy. Bears are very flexible too. Now, when I moved back to Minnesota here years ago, I had a lot of oak trees in my yard and I had to deal with bears in my yard and stuff, especially the 2-year-olds. They're young and dumb, but anyway, dangerous stuff everywhere, isn't there? So, but I'm going to get out of here for the night. And like I say, things are going to get crazy, people, and the government just seems to have the old crazy button pushed, and we're going to get punished. Stay safe out there. We're falling apart just like Rome did. whatever. Just be able to react what comes down your street. You need to be able to have the ability to react. And I'm not talking to defend if you have to, whatever. Just react in a smart way to survive. Anyway, that's all I got for tonight. I hope everybody's having a great evening. This is Tom with Hidden Truths. I'm out of here.